Hello, first graders. This is the June 15th lesson. It's Lexia page 3, Simple Suffixes. And this page is practicing words that end with ed, but they make 3 different sounds. Remember, if you have a word that has ed at the end, it means that it happened in the past. And ed at the end can make 3 different sounds. One sound it can make is the d sound, like called. I called my mom on the phone yesterday. Another sound ed can make at the end, if you have ted, it can make the ted sound at the end. Think of like a boy's name, like Ted. Planted. I planted flowers in the garden yesterday. Another sound ed can make at the end is the t sound, like cracked. I cracked the egg when I was making scrambled eggs. So ed at the end can make the d, ted, or the t sound. So let's go ahead and look at some of the words and put them into categories. So words that end with the d, that make the d sound, we're going to put in the first column. Words that make the ted sound at the end, we're going to put in the middle column. And words that end with ed that make t, we're going to put in the last column. So here we go. We're going to start with the first column, words that end with ed that make the d sound at the end. Our next one we have is screamed. I screamed when I was watching the scary movie. Our next word, leaned. I couldn't hear what my friend was saying, so I leaned closer to her. Leaned. You hear the d sound at the end? Our next word is yelled. I yelled at my son to stop at the corner of the street so he wouldn't cross the street by himself. Yelled. So do you see how all these words end with ed, but they make the d sound when you come to the ed spelling? Okay, let's go ahead and take a look at some words that have the ted sound, okay? Words that end with ted. Think of like a boy's name, like Ted. So the first one we have is planted. Rented. I rented a car when I went to San Diego. Dusted. I dusted the cabinets. Twisted. I twisted the balloon to tie it. So see how all these words, I highlighted ted at the end to show you if you have these 3 letters at the end, they make the ted sound. And our last words that end with ed that make the t sound, like cracked.
What is this?
Bumped. When I was walking in the kitchen at night, I bumped into the chair. Bumped. Do you hear the t sound? Stamped. I stamped all of the homework pages. Stamped. Rocked. My grandma rocked in the rocking chair. So see how all these words end with ed, but they make the t sound. So let's go ahead and read all the words. After you do this page, I would like you to read the words to somebody in your family too. So let's read all the words that make the d sound at the end, that are spelled with ed at the end. Called, screamed, leaned, yelled. Now let's look at all the words that make the ted sound at the end. Planted, rented, dusted, twisted. Now we're going to look at all the words that end with ed that make the t sound at the end. Let's read them together. cracked, bumped, stamped, rocked. Okay, first graders, I hope you have a great day. Now do this page on your own and then read it to someone in your family. See you later.